This is Carl Jones giving a shout out to Know the Ledge Radio and Sidnetta TV. Peace.
Peace, brother. Thank you, my man.
We are here with a legend in the animation game, our brother Carl Jones.
Come get it off your chest. Come get it off your chest. Spreading information through the city streets. The word been traveling street to street. Sidnetta TV deal with facts that be concrete. Ooh, check out the realness, see how raw it be. See whether it's debating or a DVD. Sit back, relax, and let your mind be free. So if you got that info and can take the heat, ooh, just come correct. This here ain't for the weak, yeah.
We are here with a legend in the animation world, not the black animation world, not the, no, just the animation world, period. This is our brother right here, the co-creator of Boondocks and Black Dynamite, our brother Carl Jones, all the way from LA. Peace.
But not the co-creator, I was co-executive producer, but not the co-creator.
Co-executive producer, my bad. You know what I mean? Let's clean that one up.
Yes, sir.
But nevertheless, a legend in the making, a legend in the game, one who many people are looking up to, you know what I'm saying, in animation and things of that nature, our brother Carl Jones. Peace and welcome to Sidnetta TV. What's good with you, brother?
What's good? What's good?
All right. Let the family know what's good with you. How's everything going?
Everything's good, man. I'm just here in New York, man, for the American Black Film Festival. Yesterday we had a panel for Black Dynamite, the animated series, and we showed a couple of clips that have never been seen before, and it went good, man. We got a real positive response. We showed clips from one of the first episodes. It's called Roots, the White Album. So I don't know if you know much about the show, but it takes place in the 70s.
Yes, it does.
So it's centered around a crime-fighting superhero by the name of Black Dynamite, who runs with a group of friends that help him in his
Cornbread and
cream corn. There's cream corn, honeybee, and bullhorn, right?
Yeah.
But basically, the first episode is called Roots, the White Album, and it's about when the black community first saw Roots for the very first time and how they reacted to it. And because they didn't realize how bad slavery was, they got really upset about it. And Al Sharpton got them all riled up, and they went to Beverly Hills and started kidnapping white people and enslaving them. So
Al Sharpton was back.
Al Sharpton, right? So they kidnapped all the white people and brought them in from Beverly Hills and brought them into the black community and started enslaving them. But they realized that they weren't good at enslaving people.
Okay. Yo, I mean,
I want to ask you, Uncle Ruckus.
Yeah.
The character of Uncle Ruckus. Have you ever seen or heard of a dude by the name of Pastor Manny?
Yeah, I saw that, man. I saw that. He's Uncle Ruckus for real. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's his dead ringer, his doppelganger.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Let me see. What inspired you to come up with these characters on the Boondocks when you be having these characters? What inspired you, and how do you come up with these characters?
Well, man, everybody asks about the process, and there's really no real formula for it because ideas come from everywhere. Like a lot of times, to be honest, a lot of ideas come from the internet. Like I comb through the internet, I'm watching Sidnetta TV, I'm watching World Star Hip Hop, and it's a lot of inspiration there because you get a chance to, yeah, absolutely. But we all get in the room. We have a writer's room. We sit around a table and we just kind of talk about current events. We talk about whatever's happening, in our personal lives or, the characters we grew up with, and we start kind of building stories around that, But usually we try to figure out what we want to say about a specific episode, and then we kind of back into a story from there, yeah.
Well,
have you ever thought about? Hold on, I'm gonna let you get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing something like a debate? Where you got the come up with some characters and they going in and you got the Muslims, you got the You got the Moors over here, you know what I'm saying? You got the brothers that come up in the ancient Kemetic studies. Have you ever did something? I think that'll be powerful when you got the brothers on the corner and they going in and they building. That'll be fire right there. You ever thought about that?
Yeah, Riley have a debate with Huey or somebody.
Well, like I said, man, the inspiration comes from everywhere. I mean, I definitely try to find ways to incorporate a lot of the things that I like and the things that I respond to and you know, the stuff that I study. And, you know, like I said, I watch Sonetta TV like every day. You know what I'm saying? I don't even watch TV at all. And I make TV. So I spend more time on the internet watching what you're doing than I do watching people that work in my own industry. So, you know, because that's where, to me, that's where most of the inspiration comes from. And it's honest and you know, and seeing all these different organizations that make up the conscious community, you know, is definitely inspiration. I don't know exactly how to, you know, put it together, but I feel like sooner or later you'll see little bits of.
What is your take on the debates that we be having?
I think it's dope, man. I think it's a really good exercise, you know, for the community, and I think, you know, to me it's not so much about the debaters, it's about the people and the people being able to, you know, get some information from it and you know, I think it's great, man. It feels almost like the '90s hip hop movement. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing, man.
No doubt. Now, I know that you were saying that, you know, that y'all draw a lot of information in your writing process for the cartoons Boondocks and Black Dynamite. But I remember watching Black Dynamite one night, the time when y'all sent Michael Jackson to the moon, and I was like, yo, it really hit. I had that eureka moment where I was like, you could do things in cartoons that you necessarily can't do in like a sitcom or a sketch comedy. Like, you're really able to bend, you know, the rules and things of that nature and be very provocative. Like, there's some people that got introduced to consciousness through Boondocks. You feel me? Like, it started them on their path with that whole Jesus is black, that first episode, you know what I'm saying? So do y'all, you know, when Aaron Magruder and everybody in the writing team, do you purposely approach doing the satire and things of that nature to wake people up?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say with the sole purpose to wake people up, because, I mean, what we try to do is I mean, it's an art, you know. I mean, it's an art form where we're storytellers first, and we try to tell stories that are honest, you know. So we don't usually have a specific agenda necessarily, but if, you know, there's something honest that we want to say about what's happening in the news or what's happening with religion or what's happening with politics or hip-hop culture or whatever, yeah, you know, we just figure out what our point of view is on it, and we find a way to write a story that you know, properly displays that. But it's not like, you know, like we got to figure out a way to, you know, to uplift the minds of the people necessarily. But I will say this, as we're writing, I'm always looking for ways to provoke certain thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Because I do believe that nowadays, if you're creating content, you have to do thought-provoking material, because you're competing with the internet, number one, where everyone has a platform now to discuss how they feel and think about, you know, different things. So in order for you to even stand out in television, you have to be saying something that is you know, that right, something that's provocative. Exactly.
Shock value and whatnot.
But not necessarily for the shock value, but just to provoke the thought and the conversation, because I feel like sometimes, like, we'll touch a topic that might be taboo, and it sparks a conversation.
It does.
And you know, and that conversation, I feel like, usually it does become viral naturally, and people will find it, but it's not for the sake of just controversy itself, you know.
Okay. So you're basically saying that you got room on your writing staff for Red Pill. That's what you're saying.
Well, that's what the question was. That's what you were really getting at.
I told somebody the other day that I met Carl Jones. This is a young animator, and he almost lost his mind. You understand? And he said to me that in his world of animation and black artists, that you and Aaron Magruder are like, am I pronouncing his name correctly? He was like, you guys are the pinnacle in their eyes of success and black artists at this point, because of what it is that the kind of work that you guys have been putting in, and, you know, just the way that you've been able to bend the rules. So what would be your advice to our young brothers? Because inside of the conscious community, I've said this before, I mean, even the lecturers, Phil Valentine, A.A. Rashid, Brother Asir, me and my brother, a whole bunch of other brothers are master artists, KT the Arts degree. What would be your advice to our brothers and sisters in the conscious community that are part of the creative community? You know what I mean? Brothers who may be, you know, self-taught, or they may be in school right now. And, you know, we also may have some brothers that work for these corporations, your Disney's, Capcom, Marvel, whatever, but they may be wanting to do their own thing and may not have that encouragement. What would you tell them in this era, this digital internet era, to do to pursue their dreams?
Well, I say, you know, just go after it. I mean, the advice that I normally give is just be prepared for whatever opportunity that arises. Like if you're looking to be an animator, you know, you should figure out exactly what you want to do in animation and really start to hone that specific craft. Because there's so many components to animation, there's so many different jobs in animation. You know, you can. I mean, everyone wants to do everything, but you have to find a specific talent. You have to find a very specific thing that you're best at, and master it, and then, you know, focus your attention there. And then if you're looking to get a job in the industry, that's the best way to do it. Now, aside from that, if you're an artist or a storyteller, and you want to have some more independence, I would say completely take advantage of you know, the social media outlets. And I mean, you got YouTube. I mean, you can download Toon Boom on off the internet, and you can animate your whole a series on your own right from your home on your laptop. So it's just a new day and time. Like a lot of times, what's happening now is a lot of guys are creating content and they're putting it online, and they're growing their fan base on the internet, and then the networks are coming to them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So then you have more leverage in the situation when it comes time to negotiate a deal and make money, because the typical way is you create an idea, you sell it to the network, and you hope that they pay you to work on it. You know what I'm saying? And that is not even always the case.
That would have been my next question.
Right.
Would be, how important is it for a content creator, whether it's in film, animation, comics, how important is it for a content creator to have ownership? Because we're in this era now, like you have Dame Dash stepping up.
Right.
Speaking about the culture vultures, you have Kanye, who had a rant, you know what I mean?
Right.
Every other day about people stealing the culture, stealing our ideas, our intellectual property. How important is it? And now we live in this era where you can empower yourself, like you said.
Right.
You could create a following. They have the 1,000 True Fan Theory and all of these other things that they will empower you.
Well, I mean, I think it's important, but I think the machine is good for the artist, and the artist can be good for the machine. You just have to know how to use it.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say, meaning that you can get a show on TV, right, which will definitely help to expand your brand, right, as an artist or as a writer or as a creator.
Yes.
In the meantime, I would suggest that you continue to find outlets for your art that don't necessarily require you to sell it to a network. Meaning, if you have a show on TV, you can look at that show on TV as almost like an expensive commercial for your brand. So when you are creating content online, you can take the leverage, you can leverage the success that you had in television, right, and start to bring that same audience over to your independent projects. But I think one kind of helps the other, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like you can use your brand that you establish and your network that you build online to help direct them to what you're doing in television. So I think all of it is good. I try to push a lot of young people just to think outside the box and don't solely think that just getting a show, because the idea of having a show on TV is kind of over romanticized. Like we believe that anybody that has a show on TV, number one, that they're rich, and that's not always the case. It's hardly never the case. You don't usually see like real money until your show gets into syndication, meaning once you make 100 episodes, then that network will syndicate your show out and you see residuals from it. But if it doesn't reach 100 episodes, which most shows don't, well, a lot of shows don't, then you don't see any residuals. So then you're off trying to find another job. So I would.
Does it take to reach 100?
Well, it depends. See, like for example, like with Boondocks, right? We did 15 episodes a season, right? But it takes us 2 years to make that show. So for us to get to 100 episodes, it's going to take a long time, right? And then when we do get to 100 episodes, because of the nature of the content, there's only so many outlets for that show. They're just going to license it. So, you know, and we, you know, we did a show. BET would probably be the first network you would think that would air a show like Boondocks or was syndicated, but we did shows about BET. So.
And I would think one of the first ones would be like Comedy Central.
Yeah, Comedy Central. But even they're becoming a little bit more conservative because, I mean, Adult Swim is probably the only network where you can say nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it'd be a lot of bleeping.
So what are you suggesting as far as the people who want to get into animation? What schools are you suggesting that they attend? As far as, are you suggesting Full Sail University?
I think I'm not familiar with that school. I know Cal Arts turns out a whole lot of people in the animation business. Like Cartoon Network, a lot of the employees come out of Cal Arts. You know, like the guys that created Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory, they went to Cal Arts. You know, but with that said, all the information that you want to get from that institution, you can find in books and on the internet. There's ways to, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's about you having the ability to do it and you having the talent and knowing production. You know, I mean, there's people that go to school that don't have as much talent as a lot of kids that didn't go to school but understand the process and they get work, you know.
Let's talk about Netflix. How was you able to get Boondocks on the Netflix program?
Well, I wasn't responsible for that per se. That's Adult Swim. Adult Swim did a deal with Netflix. I'm sorry, not Adult Swim, but Cartoon Network did a deal with Netflix. So you'll see there's a bunch of Cartoon Network shows, you know what I'm saying, on Netflix now. Yeah.
And do you receive residuals on that, or you get something?
I mean, I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything yet. I mean, you know, I do have some participation in the property, but I haven't seen. You know, it's very hard, man, for you to see like residuals off of, you know, the digital sales and DVDs. You know what I'm saying? It's real hard. So, you know, it's changing, but you know.
Would you, in the future, are you going to supply an outlet for like young African Americans to learn the game?
Absolutely. I was just talking about that yesterday. I don't have it figured out yet, but I do want to put something together where, you know, we can teach young people like the ins and outs of the business and how to you know, and how to get in. Not only that, but how to create content, how to sell it, you know, how to produce it on your own. I mean, all avenues. You know, I feel like there's definitely a lack of knowledge when it comes to that. Because even when you go to school, I think there's only so much you're going to learn, you know, because you have to talk to people that are actually working in the business and that have had experience being turned down and have had experience selling shows and have had experience creating their own stuff. You know, you want to. I mean, I want to share all of that information that I have. Absolutely, yeah.
It's definitely.
Yeah, I believe that. Because there's a lot of talent out here, man. You know.
So, other than Black Dynamite, that's going on right now.
Black Dynamite?
Yeah, I've seen Black Dynamite. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
Black Dynamite. Is there any other projects in the works that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm developing a couple projects with 50 Cent, but we don't have a home for them yet. But we you know, it's in the works.
You hear about Cameron and Cousin Skeeter joint? Like I think that's what it's called, like Cousin Skeeter, but they got like a puppet, you know, like a Muppet.
Oh, cause I remember Cousin.
What's it called? Cousin something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No, I remember a Cousin Skeeter from like Nickelodeon or something. Yeah, but
I can't think of it. But Cam got something new out.
Oh, that's dope.
I think you should consider working with Cameron.
Okay.
He did his brand, he got the liquor and all of that.
Yeah. Okay, I have to check it out.
He always big.
Yeah.
So.
I'm trying to make it there, man. I'm definitely trying to make it there.
Yeah. So, is there a location, if the brothers that are watching this in the conscious community want to send in some artwork or want to send in some, you know, some animation or whatever, is there a home for that yet? Is there a destination?
I'm working on something now, man. As soon as I get it together, you'll be the first person I tell, and y'all can put it out.
All right. Yeah. And also, is the technology that they've released these days powerful enough to whereas a group of artists could come together and create an animation series or a comic strip or something like that without the use of these big, you know, corporations and things of that nature?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's several different programs you can use, and well, Toon Boom is probably you know, it's a real popular one, and there's several Flash programs. Okay. I mean, Flash animation. Yeah, well, Flash. I mean, there's several different Flash animation programs that you can use. Okay. I mean, there's tons of stuff out there, man. And then, you know, as far as like recording, I mean, you can use the iPhone. The iPhones are powerful enough. I mean, there's time. Well, I can't. Yeah. I mean, you know, but you can use. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's. See, because what happens is when if you're doing a show that's quote unquote like union, if it's a television union show, yeah, then you have to go by certain guidelines, and you have to hire certain people to do certain jobs. SAG, right? Right. But yeah, even with the SAG. But if you're doing something independent, I mean, there's all kinds of ways you can get it done, you know, without having to go to traditional routes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know.
All right. Well, I'm invigorated. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I received that wealth of knowledge that I need. You know what I mean? To continue to be creative, continue to be innovative. I know that the brothers and sisters out there that see this, they're gonna get that spark that they need. You know what I mean? And I really see a beautiful future ahead of us. You know what I mean? Especially when other animators, because I've just felt like nobody has been speaking to them in the community. Nobody is letting them know that it's cool to be an artist, it's cool to be creative, and that we're out here and we're one of them. So, you know, I just encourage everyone to come forward, you know, like, because I have visions in the future of, you know, sitting to the end of a epic Moorish animation, or, you know, the 18th Dynasty cartoon, and the credits roll and all of us are there. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because you never see 2 or 3 people. It's always a whole bunch of people when the credits roll. So we know that this is a group effort. You know what I mean? So I salute you for everything that you're doing. You know what I mean? Keep doing what you're doing. Keep making history, because you are part of history right now. You're Black history. You know what I'm saying? So salute. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Keep it up. All right? No doubt. Peace. No doubt.
I gotta sit here with my brother. I gotta get a shot too.